Hello and welcome back. On the last episode we completed the entire deck of 52 endings, but after that we came back to the start of the game. Not to the menu, but it automatically started up back to the start. So I'm assuming we're going to play through and somehow Mouse, the character we are, or assuming we have always been, will know something different, and obviously things will go differently because they know how the deck falls. So anyway, we'll see if this is skippable. If it's not, we'll read through it obviously, because this will be interesting. Anyway, let's go. Skip test. It's not skippable. Anyway, whoa, what the hell? Ah! Hey, what the hell's going on? Who are you? Easy. I don't know what's happening. After calming down, I realized that this man and I were on the same page. We were kidnapped, put into some sort of ludicrous situation. For now, we decided to go by animal names of the masks we woke up in. So it skipped a bunch of, it skipped the dialogue first and narrated it. Looking around, our situation seemed pretty grim. Locked in what appeared to be a school without any idea of why we were taken. And before long, a voice went onto the speakers. Good morning, rat. Good morning, ox. How was your sleep? What's this? Some message from the kidnappers, I imagine. I hope you got some rest. You'll need it for the upcoming race. Be prepared for the jury to face judgment. I suggest you listen to what I have to say very carefully. Failure to comply with what I tell you will result in an immediate disqualification, and trust me, that outcome would leave no one satisfied. Now then, you should both promptly proceed to the starting line. In this case, that would be the cafeteria on the first floor. Right outside this room should be a staircase which will take you to the first floor, and from there, it's a simple right turn to get there. Before you leave, make sure each of you grabs the tablet with your respective animal printed on it. Take good care of these. They will most certainly, they will be certainly critically important. That is all for now. Once again, do come quickly. The Jade Emperor eagerly awaits your arrival. With that, the speakers cut off, leaving us just standing there, processing what we had just heard. After a back and forth, we decided to comply with the voice to trademarks orders, making our way to the cafeteria. There we met a whole bunch of interesting characters. An Olympian, a friendly-looking guy, a gang leader, tiger, bunny, and dragon, a creepy artist, snake, an incredibly jacked dude, horse, and a meek-looking girl, sheep, an apparent movie star, my therapist, to my great surprise, and a journalist. What about Dog? And a scruffy-looking man who was eyeing me with plenty of suspicion. Why is Dog last? We all agreed to my suggestion to adopting our animal masks as monikers. The wait for some sort of explanation of what was going on was certainly unpleasant. However, eventually, a television turned on, showing a hooded person I could only assume to be the Jade Emperor. They demanded that we all put on our animal masks while they spoke. After we complied, they began to explain the situation we had found ourselves in. You all, if you have not realized yet, are the 12 Zodiac animals who will compete in my race. I thought this might be like that. You might ask why you are animals. There are a number of good answers to the question, but to put it simply, you all live your lives with the awareness of animals. You go about your day-to-day without a goddamn care in the world. Peacefully moving onwards, never to stop and to reflect or apologize for your sins. Your murder. Our murder? What are you talking about? Oh, don't pretend you don't know what, you filthy, glory-hungry liar. You see, perhaps not all of you know it, but the 12 of you were the jury of a particular trial. Of course, you weren't the actual jury. I don't blame them. What I mean is that each of you made selfish or stupid choices. Each of you were complicit. Each of you decided to help hang an innocent man for a murder he did not commit. I mean, that's what innocent means. And this idea you all have, that you just get to walk away from that and not look at what you've done, is sickening. It's not fair. You all deserve a chance to be punished. You all must be tried. So that is what we're doing today. A Zodiac trial. A trial, as in we're going to be prosecuted? Perhaps my word choice has given off the wrong impression. Initially, I had the idea more similar to that. However, I think instead we shall settle this with a race. A race fitting of the beast you are. So, what are the rules of this trial? Finally, someone asking the proper questions. Please take a look at this display. As you can see, there are your 12 animals are lined up on the left, going top and to the bottom in order they come in the calendar. You also may notice that 24 spaces between there are 24 spaces between the starting line for the animals at the end of it. The aim of the race is to use the tablets provided to move your animal to the finish line as quickly as possible. Makes sense? Before continuing, I think it would be pertinent to address certain rules that you'll most likely find important. Each tablet may only be operated by its owner. Additionally, the owner must be alone in the room when using it. If you operate your tablet with another person in the room, or if someone else operates your tablet, you'll be instantly executed. Executed? I expected something like this, but still, it's a shock to hear. It's a shock to hear it laid out like that. What the hell? Hey, moron. You think you can kill me that easily? Oh, but I can. For you see, each of your necklaces is outfitted with a devious device. At a mere push of a button, knives on the inside of the collar will come out, cleanly splicing your necks open, leaving you to die. How does it feel, knowing that, just like that, you should be executed, dead? Feel fun? Is it enjoyable for you, scum? But I don't want to die. Calm down. You only said we'll be executed if we break the rules, right? There's a bit more to it than that, but you're right in that I won't kill you for no reason. There'd be no point of any of this if I was just a senseless murderer. No, I guarantee that if all of you behave appropriately, every single one of you can leave here alive. And what does that entail? The race will consist of 12 rounds. If no animals are able to get to the finish line at the end of the 12th round, all of you will be executed. Every round will last 45 minutes. All participants must take an action within those 45 minutes. If a participant does not take an action during a round, they will be executed. At the end of the round, the animals that take their actions in order from top of the screen to the bottom. Using the tablet, there are a few available actions to choose from. All animals are able to simply run. Choosing run will move your animal one space forward. You may also choose to use your animal ability. Each animal has their own ability, which can help them in the race. Be sure to click the information button to learn what your ability does. Participants are allowed to use to confess once per game, and if you choose confess, then at the end of the round, when it's your animal's turn, you will be given an opportunity. You may use this 1 minute opportunity to give a meaningful confession to me. Is that what we're supposed to do? Are all 12 of us supposed to confess? Afterwards, I will rate the effectiveness of your confession, of the confession, and your animal will move anywhere from 0 to 5 spaces. What's the basis of your ranking? I'm under no obligation to tell you that. Try it out for yourself if you're curious. Finally, you're able to choose an item. Throughout the school, I've hidden things of practical use as well as items to use in the race. The physical items will have a passcode on it. Input the passcode onto the tablet, your tablet to use it. Only one participant may be able to use an item per round. Hold on, sorry. Read that again, please. Only one participant may use any given item per round. Okay. There are a total of 24 items in this school. A minor trinket and a major trinket for each animal. All animal minor trinkets are the same. Using it will move you a number of spaces equal to the number of other animals who have used a minor trinket that turn. For example, if you had the mouse minor trinket by yourself, you'll move 1 space forward. However, if you use the mouse minor trinket and a friend uses the ox minor trinket, and 2 enemies use the tiger and bunny minor trinkets, you'll all move 4 spaces. On the other hand, the major trinket each have their own effect. You'll have to figure out what they do by finding them yourselves. Even though each animal has a major and minor trinket based on them, they're not exclusive to said animal. So if dog wanted to use pig's minor trinket, that's totally allowed. What a childish game to stake all lives on. Is it really? It really makes you seem all small in comparison, doesn't it? Anyway, there's the essence of the race. At the end of each round, after all the animals have taken their actions, if any animal has made it to the finish line, the race will end. Those at the end of the finish line will have their colours automatically unlocked, and everyone else will be executed. Ah, seriously? How you choose to run the race is up to you. Hey Brian, I gotta ask you something. Brian? What are you talking about? So, Dog's changing the story. Bri, buddy. Where is he? Where's who? You told me I'd see my old pound Ollie here. Ollie. So Dog was convinced to come here. I'm assuming so was Snake. So this is... Oh, no. So this is the fact that someone's deviating from the plan. But I'm not seeing him here right now. What's up with that? Unceremoniously, the television cut off. It appeared the Dog's coming and caught the Jade Emperor off guard. What the hell is that about? You chatted with this person? No, not really. I was just trying to get a erection out of the guy. And I think I did my job pretty well, if you ask me. Why'd you call him Brian? It appears our compatriot Dog has caught on what I noticed. You noticed it too? Snake went on to explain who our mysterious captor was. The son of Arenbowen. Things suddenly clicked into place for me. I realized how I fit into all of this. That's what this was. Forget this. Mouse, are you okay? Seriously, is this supposed to be a revenge for your dad's execution? Okay, but be in denial about your dad's guilt, but why take it out on me? You're going to ruin your life to take revenge on someone who wasn't even involved? Or what? Are you angry that my father wasn't able to save your dad against all of that evidence? My father believed in your dad's innocence, Brian, and he tried his best to save him. And because of that, you put me through this? That's messed up, and you know that, Brian. Whoa, Mouse. You're right to be angry, but let's not take a moment to calm down. Where'd you get off to tell her to calm down? If anything, she should be more mad. God knows I am. After all, there's no reason for I should be here. I've even got the faintest idea of what connects me to all this. Really? Are you sure about that? What are you saying? You calling me a liar? No, not at all. I'm just saying I would think you've got some connection to the case. After all, I've been looking around, and most of these people do. So think hard. Are you sure you're not involved in this at all? Of course I'm not. Bizarre. Hey, it's all weird that I'm here. I mean, what did I do to deserve this? The articles I put weren't unfair or anything, and a bunch of people reported on it at all. From there, people began discussing their connections to the case. It did seem like almost everyone had their reason for being here, even if many of those reasons seemed incredibly tenuous. Then why was Dragon here? Regardless, the group couldn't focus on that. There was more important matters. We needed to deal with this stupid game that Brian had set up. There'd been some way of getting through it as a group. A couple of ideas were thrown around until an idea was formed. Look, let's just try the simplest solution. The simplest solution, what's that? I'm talking about the minor trinkets. I get it. You do? Well, there are 12 minor trinkets, and their movement are equal to the number of people using them. So if we're able to find all 12, we'll be able to cross the finish line in a group in 2 rounds. Oh, that's a good idea, Horse. If we just do that, we'll all be fine. So we can just get we can all get out of this alive. That is what Brian said. Have any of you all seen a knife like this before? Out of the blue, Doug pulled out a knife in front of everybody. What the hell? Why do you have something like that? This. As he held it out, it looked like he was scanning everybody's expression. What the hell? Why do you have that? I keep it on my person at all time. I checked my boot and I found that I still had it on me. Smart. I have to say that it's a really swanky knife. Ooh, can I play with it? Why do you want to play with knives or stuff? No. Thank you for saying no, please. I already said no. Yeah, if someone says no, then learn no. Well, when you put it like that, fine. Really? Of course not. Rooster pouted and turned to Monkey. Dog's mean. I'm aware. Why is he acting like a child? Dumb as it seemed, Rooster did have a point. The knife was gold and had many intricate engravings on it. Seemed pricey. Is there a point of this line of questioning? Not precise, particularly. I just thought it would be weird if anybody did have a knife like this. Especially since there's only 2 of these out there. If that's the case, why did you think one of us would have one? I don't know. Although, I do want one now. You think it's cool already? Check this out. Doug pressed a little button on the knife, and at the base of the knife it fell down, revealing a little compartment. Inside compartment there appeared to be some small metal capsule. It's a little hidey hole. And he said with some enthusiasm, but again, it looked like Doug was more concerned with everybody's expression than anything else. That's sick, right? Now, how much would you be willing to pay for it? Paying's boring. I'll bet you something for it. That doesn't seem very fair. What are you betting? What would you be betting? I don't know, an Olympic medal maybe? You'd be willing to part with that? I thought you didn't actually place in the Olympics. Oh, you don't have to place in the Olympics to get an Olympic medal, huh? Yeah, they hand out the commemorative medals to everybody who participated. That's nice. You participated medal. Sigh. What is happening to the world? Did everybody settle down? So why is Dog deviating from the norm? Well, we've gotten wildly off topic. Did you all just forget we're in a life or death situation? Anyway, like Horse pointed out with the trinkets, it should only take 2 rounds to finish the race. We have plenty of time to search, and this school isn't all that large. First, let's try to find all the minor trinkets. Sounds good. So then, should we start our search? Actually, we should put on a move. After all this talking, the round 1's almost over. I looked over the nearby clock and found that Bunny was absolutely right. Bunny's right. So let's split up and input our run actions. After we can reconvene and start our search. With a game plan, everybody split up and input their moves. We came back and watched the display on the screen to track our progress. We began discussing how we split up and look for the trinkets. I was listening to the group when I heard something. I'm thinking about checking the training room. I saw it beforehand, and I think there might be a trinket. A training room by the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. I think he's got it. A trinket's definitely hidden there. A shame I'm already accounted for in another group. Believe me, it's no shame at all. I don't want you to come along with me. Ooh, horse is just nice horse. Then you would quit snapping your finger like that. You don't possess any rhythm for it to be cool. Yeah, I'm definitely on Team Horse on this out of this. Actually, could I join you, Horse? I don't know why, but when I heard about the training room, something clicked in my brain. In my brain. Haha. I felt like there was definitely the right choice to make. So, okay, so it's taken out the choices, and it's just like one long path now, right? So I decided to go with Horse. Sheep also tagged along, and sure enough, we were able to find something. It turned out the major trinket that didn't seem particularly useful. After that, we reconvened in the cafeteria at the end of the round. When we discussed where we would look next, and when Bunny and Monkey discussed searching the floor, I got a similar feeling about Bunny and Monkey. Well, then again, this is technically a new timeline. So I ended up exploring a forum with Dog and Bunny, okay, and eventually found a major trinket that could act like a minor trinket. Score! However, at the end of the 3rd round, we were present with more of a problem. The Jade Emperor came into the screen and introduced a nonsense new rule that affected the person with the accomplished personality as well as the one with the weak personality. It set them up to have motives completely incompatible with the group. For a while, everybody was panicked, thinking at least 2 people would have to die. However, I realized if we combined the 2 major trinkets like that I had previously found, we'd all be able to save the affected by the twist. After proposing the idea of the group, everybody rejoiced, sure that I had solved Brian's puzzle. I'm not going to lie, hearing all that praise made me feel pretty good. But there was more important issues to attend to. We couldn't feel safe until we were out of the building. Ox and Sheep admitted to having the aforementioned personalities, and using the trinket, we were able to save them. With that matter settled, we could once again focus on searching the minor trinkets. It took some doing, but before long we had collected 11. Combining that with my ability, we'd be able to escape in 2 rounds. The first round of using the trinkets went off without a hitch. However, as I entered a room to input my action for the second round, the speakers kicked on. Well, are you happy, Mouse? Happy that you were able to band together to finish things without any casualties? I imagine that you want. You think so little of me. Mouse, you must have understand that this too was an outcome I intended possible. Granted, I didn't think that it was likely. Still, it was always on the table. So, if you were truly innocent of heart, you wouldn't be able to easily swayed by my words. You'd be calm, rational, and work as a group, and evade the traps set for you. The Jade Emperor talked a big game, but his annoyed tapping on a nearby table belayed his anger. And we did just that. Doesn't that prove you wrong? Prove that you're going through all this trouble for nothing? Perhaps. However, I wonder how many times you would have had to fail before you could have had a success like this. Had to fail? The hell does that mean? Had this outcome been a result of a cosmic dice roll, I was just wondering how many times God would have had to have rolled those die to see something like this. I imagine quite a few times. I imagine, more often than not, your sins would doom you. Sounds like a lot of nonsense coming from a sore loser. I don't know how little you think of us, but I know for sure that no matter how many times you would have put us through this, we'd always band together. If you say so. You can only act smug for so long, Brian. Soon enough, we're going to get out of this place, and then you're going to jail for a long time. Indeed, I imagine the police won't look too favourably on all of this. My only regret is that I won't be able to land a punch on your face myself. You know, if you really want to, I'll let you. What do you mean? Outside the school, there's a football field. There's a small building right beside the fence surrounding the field. I've been using that as my home base of operation. So if you want to come find me, to give justice yourself, that's where I'll be. And you're seriously telling me this because think of it as a reward for a perfect victory. You can punch me in your father's absence, although I doubt he'd say that this was the correct form of justice. Still, it'd be a shame if you never got the chance to take vengeance for yourself before the police arrive. Being able to see this person face to face, like before, something felt right about this suggestion. You know what? I think I'll just do that. I'm going to knock you flat on your behind when this is all over. I look forward to it. And just like that, the speaker went dead. Feeling oddly good about the encounter, I exited the room. And soon after, I saw Dragon angrily dragging Snake down the hallway. As I was wondering what that may be about, I noticed Doug also following after them. But before I could think too much about that, Bunny called out. Hey everybody, gather around right now. Let's all get together right now. In an instant, I got the attention of the crowd. He got the attention of the crowd. Before I knew it, people off on their own, or even in separate classrooms, were standing up in the group cafeteria. Everybody was gathered around except Dragon, Snake, and Dog. So was Dog gonna die, or was Dog gonna kill Snake and Dragon? Alright, we can hear you. Let me guess, you wanted a big ol' heroic speech about how we did it, and how we worked together. That's not exact... Well, guess what? You don't get to make that speech, I do. Now, I know some of you might be wondering if I have the credentials to handle such a task. Rooster, shut up! Are you sure you We are not. Thank you, horse. Well, it turns out I have made such a speech a number of times in my films. In a number of my films. A number of films I shall now completely list off in order of release date, accompanied by a brief summary of the flick, as well as the quote from both the coolest and dumbest reviewer of said film. To begin, how would you have it all memorized? I think everybody is willing to cede the floor to you on this one. Thank you, Monkey, for swaying him. Why, thank you, Monkey. I'm glad I've inspired so much of you, so much faith in you. It's really... Gosh, to think it would... to think I wouldn't be able even need to list my bona fides, well, it brings me... just get on with it. Thank you, sheep. Oh, even sheep is beginning to heckle. Get on with what? The speech. The speech? Right here, right now? You wanted to give it, didn't you? You stole the job from Bunny. I wasn't even going to make a speech. Alright, if you insist, Pig. Well, why is Bunny gonna... why is Dog and Dragon and Snake doing... Gosh, I didn't even prepare anything. So, I guess I'll freestyle. Right, okay. Here we go. Speech time. Ahem. Thank you. Thank God. Now let's see how the race has progressed. Okay. Not skippable, but... Dragon has used a minor trinket. Okay. Snake has used... What about Dog? Used a minor trinket. Okay, so you all moved it at least. The finish line has been crossed. The winners are Mouse, Ox, Tiger... Oop. Anyone who's not crosses lost for execution. That's everyone's listed. Those lines hardly seem apt. After all, we had all made it through just the finish line. That doesn't mean people aren't dead. I had a click around my necklace. It came undone. We did it. Yeah, we did it. As people began to ruin their necklaces, a sense of achievement and celebration spread throughout the group. The feeling of it was infectious. After all, we were home free. One thing that... once the thing got off your neck, there was no imminent danger. The sheer weight of the necklace may have been lost on us. Not the physical weight, but the weight of knowing that at any moment you may just die. The sense in front of me was very a comforting one. Why is dog shaped sheep, dog, snake, and dragon? A pleasant one. But one I couldn't indulge in, because I remembered I'd already made other arrangements. After I didn't want to keep someone waiting. Before someone could notice, I slipped away from the group. Made my way to the entrance of the school, or rather the exit. I grabbed the doorknob and pulled. I expected it would be locked. However, to my surprise, I was able to open the door quite easily. Okay. So, what do we expect? Do we expect 4 deaths in this timeline? I suppose the collar on our necklace, on our neck, was the real deterrent from leaving the building. As I walked outside, I once again could feel the sun on my skin. I could breathe fresh air. I was free. I could run straight back home. That's what I'd normally be thinking. However, none of the thoughts crossed my mind. Instead, I had a single goal in mind. Now, where did Brian say he was? I looked around, and soon enough, I saw a small building by the football field he was referring to. I strode towards it confidently, and there was some part of me, some bit in the back of my mind that questioned why I felt so sure this was a good idea. But the part that part wasn't louder than the part driving me forward to punch the brat in the face. As I gripped the doorknob, I felt confident, and I began to open the door. However, as I pulled, I would feel a weird resistance. Huh? My eyes darted downwards, and there was a wire in the crack of the doorknob. However, right as I noticed that detail, I fell in the shock to my back. Before I could open the door, more than the crack, I collapsed on the ground. So we've been stunned this time instead of rigged to explode. What was that? My vision began to fade. Looking up, I tried to see who my attacker was. I expected to see Brian smirking, gloating that he had lured me into a trap. Is it Snake or is it Dog? But instead, I found myself staring at two entirely separate faces. An unexpected face. What are you doing here? That's all I could get out before passing out. Is it our father? Ooh, new background. What the hell do you mean I'm on hiatus? Look, I'm perfectly fine to continue working. It's already been well and over a week since the incident, and in case you didn't know, I wasn't even injured or anything. I think I'll continue past the time just to see like all 12 of them. And I'm sure that this is just you trying to be considerate, but believe me, going back to work would put my mind at ease more than anything else at this point. I already rested just fine, thank you. What do you mean I've been compromised with personal bias? Product users have always had personal bias. Everyone has personal biases. It doesn't mean I can't do my damn job. Therapy? Okay, I think you're not being objective right now. I get it. I'll take a break. We'll talk later. Thank you, thank you. You're really too kind. I still have some time, yes? Great, awesome. How about we do some questions? Anyone got anything they want to ask me? Yeah, you in the back, in the red cardigan. How do I feel towards Brian when all's said and done? It's a real tough one, isn't it? To be clear, I'm going to be talking from my own personal perspective in all of this. On one hand, I did think it was the little squeak was really pretty weak. I mean, I get being angry about injustice, but killing himself in that explosion when all was said and done, that's a coward's way out. If you had the conviction to set everything else up, have the conviction to see it through. But that's just my opinion on him. My feelings towards him, a bit pity, I guess. Seems like he has been dealt a rough hand. To be honest, I kind of feel a bit thankful that he let me go through such a scary, crazy experience. I'm sensing some of you maybe turning against me now. Am I supposed to be angry at him or something? On the other hand, it's not like anybody got injured. Yes, I'm aware people, of the people who are still missing. People, so snake, dog, dragon, and mouse. Jeez, did you hear Bowen at the press conference earlier today? That was real brutal. I'm telling you, it's a sorry thing. Just because a nutjob believes something with a ton of conviction doesn't make that belief at least a bit justified. And yet, since the incident, there's been a number of people questioning if Brian could have been right. I mean, how do you get off honouring a complete psycho's will? Anyway, Boone was certainly prepared for that whole mess. After dropping all the evidence, any disruptive rumours are such a wash to wash away. But between you and me, wasn't some of that evidence, not exactly. Hey, of course I'm not questioning Bowman at all. Aaron Marsh is clearly guilty. The chief was just making that abundantly clear in a way that he saw fit. You're right, there's nothing to look into there. Anyway, it looks like he wants to completely bury the case. I know he's always kept an eye on that thing, wondering if new leads might show up. Not because he expected any, just because it was, his brother who died and all. But now the state has to double down on the conviction unless we want a bunch of unrest. Which means bolstering the truth as much as possible. And getting rid of disruptions in the narrative. Hey man, can we talk in private after the shift? Yes, Mum. Like I said before, I was just a victim is all. I didn't have any involvement or anything. No, I didn't do it. I don't know why I was targeted then. It's been related to what happened to my previous boss, with my previous boss, Amadeus. You're right, Mum. Amadeus was very sweet. It's a shame what happened to him. I don't feel like his chief's happy to have this conversation, so that's why I'm reading it in the way I am. And it's a shame that Aaron's selflessness led to his son. Son also falling into. You're right. Brian doesn't have any excuse. He's a really bad kid, but he's gone now, and I'm safe. And there isn't really anything to worry about anymore. Okay, Mum. I need to get back to work. I love you. See, she's working as a librarian as well, so nice. Yes, I was involved in the XXX high school incident. What of it? Oh yeah, we did skip. So we're not going in order because we skipped a few people at this point. Not sure what was... No, really, it was incredible. You should have seen it. Everybody was completely freaking out, their faces flushed. I swear, there were moments from completely collapsing into anarchy, brandishing weapons, and killing each other in a frenzy. Yeah, he's not wrong about that in certain timelines. They were all already scheming about what they could do, how they would be the one to survive this horrid game. However, I wasn't going to accept any victims, not on my watch. All my brain particles was spent analysing the situation, searching for a way to save the poor victims consigned to the rogue personality. It seems that like an impossible task, but of course not. It was not meant to be. It was meant to be, I think. Hold on, I need to go back. I'm having a stroke now because it's Rooster. It was meant to be, okay. But then a flash of inspiration, and I realised if we combine the major trinkets that we'd already found, we would be able to ensure that everybody could get out alive. The moment I pointed out that loophole, everybody just broke out into applause. Really, you just had to be there. It was like I was really the one in my... I was really in one of my past movies. Oh, and speaking of movies, I've already licensed the right for this, to the story, and so look out for my next flick. Honestly, I feel like this could be an interesting movie. Clearly, it wouldn't be the timeline where everyone ends, where everyone survives. But it's sure enough as a smash hit. Yes, I'm aware that I was responsible for counselling the accused. Why am I calling him the accused? The state has yet to officially make a case against him yet. Formality it may be. I prefer the mantra innocent until proven guilty. At any rate, this whole incident naturally falls to some extent on me for not being able to give him the counselling required. I'm willing to face repercussions for my hand in not preventing this tragedy. However, I'd like to make my position clear. Brian was an incredibly disturbed individual. True trauma accounts to some of it, but only some of it. There was a much deeper darkness in him. I recommended increased help to his mother several times, but that was always ignored. So is that who we had the flashback with? And some reason, she had seemed to believe this gesture of mine were made in pursuit of financial gain instead of concern for the boy. And I noted to her that he had begun to skip our sessions. I do not wish to lay any more suffering on her doorstep at this time. She has already been overwrought with grief. However, I think that some responsibility falls on Brian's actual guardian. Still, I failed to do my job and people got hurt. I will take responsibility. No, easy. It's insane. Cool. I've never been blowing up to this extent. The series of articles I published of the incident have become the go-to thing to read when you want to know what happened. I've been getting booked for so many different podcast appearances, and since I've been plugging non-stop, that means increased viewership on all my other projects. I hate to say it, but being kidnapped for the game might have been one of the best things to happen to me. Sure, there have been some side effects of going through the experience, like paranoia, panic attacks, insomnia, depression, but who cares? Pig, I don't think that's healthy. That's not very healthy, you pig. I had all that beforehand anyway. That's not a good thing. So yeah, this is my one chance to really grip a hold of the public consciousness. If I ride this out properly, I can be set up for life. The next steps are to capitalize on all this hype. But for now, how to do it. Obviously, I've got to work on some sort of a video series doing a deep dive into it. A video on each other participant and Brian himself, and then the design of the game. Do that. I think that'll give you like at least 13 videos to make and get views on. I've also been toying with the idea of writing an OPD in defense of Brian. This incident happened in the first place is also pretty scathing indictment of a bunch of different systems we have in place. So I can spin a few different articles who are at fault for the whole thing. Do you think I'm too young to publish a memoir? I've no idea. The news surrounding the incident that took place in Essex High School is still incoming as we get more information surrounding the incident. There are many unsolved mysteries with the whole event. Perhaps the biggest remaining question mark is the location of the 4 victims abducted by the mastermind Brian Morris. So yeah, so Dog is the one knocking people out. Other victims of the incident claim that all 4 victims were in fact alive at the end of the purported death game. However, at present, it was also it appears that the ex-cop and current bartender Jamie Wilbert, figured it was his name, stole a nearby car from the scene and kidnapped a young law student, a local gang leader, and an older teacher. So Dog is involved in this. The motivations of such acts are incredibly unclear. This combined with the purported interactions between Brian Morris and Mr. Wilbur before the incident have led to some speculating that the ex-cop may have been a co-conspirator in the kidnappings. However, at this point in time, such rumours were mere speculation. More importantly, the police are still eagerly searching for any sign of any of the 4 missing persons. And many are concerned with the possibility that the victims, despite escaping the death game, were unable to escape death. My head hurts. I'd not be getting enough sleep. I don't know if I could. It could have been. Sure, my captors have been being generous enough to provide me with a mattress and a blanket to help me sleep, but those few inches between me and the concrete floor did little. More to the point, my collar around my neck were more uncomfortable to sleep in, especially since it was connected to a chain. I mean, I get why I was forced to wear it, but still. It sucked. Oh, but there was a whole currently being kidnapped thing. That certainly didn't help with my stress levels. Snake, I swear to Christ, if you walk into my area one more time, I'm going to strangle you. Why are we... Okay, right. This is... What? Right. I'm going to strangle you when you sleep. Painting needs inspiration. What, are you painting the cell that we're in? When I'm inspired, I wander. The only thing you're inspiring is the urge to beat the crap out of you. My roommates also left a lot to be decided. Honestly, fair enough that you two were kidnapped with me, I guess. I feel like you two could help keep us sane. Could you two please keep it down? Are you really trying to go back to sleep? With the lights on and everything? No, I'm just sick of you two. Your arguments are incessant and I'm sick of it. Why can't you two just behave? I don't know if I deserve such blame in all this. You are kind of annoying, Dragon. If I recall, the majority of the altercations have come from Dragon attacking me for something rather benign. Yeah, but you're provoking her. Who, me? I'd never. You know exactly what you're doing. If I've learned anything over these past few days, is that you're actually just as childish as she is. Childish? Who the hell are you calling childish? I don't have time for this. Correction, you have nothing but time for this. And that's the problem, isn't it? Okay, Jamie Wilbert, sorry. It was just at this point our captor decided to make his entrance, carrying a tray of food and drinks. I brought breakfast, thank you, dog. So why have you kidnapped us? Silence filled the room. Thank you might be nice. Forget you, psychopath. You kidnapped us. Maybe, but this and that are separate things. So, do you want to have breakfast or not? Is our meal cognizant or showing you respect by thanking you? It'd be a douchey move if that was the case, wouldn't it? It would. Then I suppose not. In that case, I'll also refrain. Gotcha. Mouse? Thank you for the meal, dog. No problem. Mouse. You traitorous, strike-bearing blackleg. We're supposed to be a united front. A united front doesn't have nearly as much infighting as this. Besides, and united front against who? Dog, obviously. I mean, I need to. I need a full unit to. I need a full united front to be taken down. How flattering! If Dragon was expecting me to work up a lot of anger at Dog, she'd be disappointed. I was pretty annoyed at him, no doubt, but all things considered, he'd been pretty reasonable host to his captors. Yeah, if he's given us like a mattress, blankets, you know, food. He'd listened to most of the requests asked of him, and he did his best to keep us occupied with books and painting supplies and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, yeah. He even hosted daily game night. Really? What kind of... He kidnapped us to gamble, which was slightly surreal. And besides, I could see where he was coming from with all this. A lot more than I could with Brian, at any rate. So, Dog, any change? Anything? Are you going to let us go yet? If I do, are you going to storm out into the open? Of course I am. What, do you think... do you want me to live on your stupid basement forever? In that case, I'm afraid you just have to stay here. Trust me, it's for your own good. I do trust Dog Wood for some reason. If he says it's for our own good, I kind of believe that. How can you say that stuff with a straight face when you're imprisoning us? Well, I also saved you three. Think about it. I think it kind of evens out. I must say, Dog, I'm surprised that we're still here. Presumably, the police should be looking for us now. Oh, they are, but no doubt they'll find us here. I got a lot of good connections from working as a cop and as a bartender. The ones are pretty low key, pretty reliable. We could hide out here for over a month. How exciting! Doug, I'm trying to be understanding. I still don't understand everything, and I don't get why you're just doing all this. Could you try and explain it clearly? Again with this? Dog sighed. Well, I suppose keeping it from you ain't going to do much good at this point. If I'm going to be keeping you guys here without your consent, at least I could do is give you the full layout of things. Else I'm a total scum, you know? Trust me, you already are. Ouch. That might be fair. Anyway, if you really want to understand, I'm going to have to bore you with the whole story, and so strap in, folks. How exciting. Looking forward to it. Could you two shut up? They were honestly a lot more similar than either of them would care to admit. Alright, so, as you already know, I used to be a cop, yeah? And you might not believe it, but I was a pretty good one as well. The current chief of police, Oliver Bowen, chief of police Bowen, yeah, I came up with that guy. He was a really good friend. That point's important for why I haven't killed the guy on my own at this point. It was sad and thankless job that did a number of my soul, but I did it all the same. Eventually, enough was enough for me, and the job was too cruel, too thankless, too draining. Plus, the force was slowly getting corrupt. Slowly. Yeah, well, you could argue that the force has never been the shining example of justice that it was meant to be, but what I'm talking about is a lot more substantial degrading. Anyway, I knew that it was not out in spite of Oliver becoming chief of police, but because of him. I tried to get a straight answer from him. It was all of what it was all about, but that was a failed endeavor. At some point, it just wasn't worth it. So I quit, become a bartender, yada yada yada, and that was that. Until the case of Aaron Morris killed Amadeus Bowen, Oliver's brother. Due to the circumstances, I ended up being involved in the case. I gave important testimony at the trial. When Morris was sentenced, I thought that was that. Until Oliver came by my bar late night one night, a wreck. Well, he hadn't been great ever since his brother's death, but he was different. I was familiar with the look of desperation in his eyes. I'd seen it in criminals before. After a bit of pressing on a number of drinks, he finally spilled. Honestly, I couldn't tell you why he told me the truth that night. Enough stress had piled up on him, he had no one to talk about it to. Guess he just needed to confess. Whatever the case, he told me that it was actually up with the Force. Apparently his brother Amadeus, the guy, had been filling his head with a bunch of stupid ideas about how he'd better control the police and ergo the city if he got dirt on all of his subordinates. So that's what Oliver did. He intentionally created situations where he got the blackmail material on the people he employed and filled the whole file full of stuff. So that's why Bunny had stuck working with him. Pretty scummy stuff. But not as scummy as what his brother then did to him. Amadeus got Oliver to tape confessing to the little blackmail scheme, thus creating blackmail leverage over him. Imagine being screwed over by your own brother. That's gotta make Thanksgiving awkward. Using the leverage, Amadeus got Oliver to hand over all the material he had collected on his subordinates. To the point, Amadeus had his thumbs over the entire force. But it turns out that it's far from all he had control over. See, the blackmail idea from Amadeus wasn't just a spur of the moment thing. Amadeus has been creating his own little folder for quite some time. Being the CEO of an entertainment company, he had plenty of time meeting with big names and powerful people. Slowly and methodically, Amadeus had been dragging more and more people into his web, which is what Rooster was killing people for. I don't know the specifics of how he did it, but suffice to say, Amadeus was doing some real sketchy stuff. But it had been working for him. At this point, it had been pretty much the whole city of Hightower under his influence in some way or another. He was in complete control, and then he ended up dying. That's karma for you, I suppose. When Oliver told me all this to me, I don't know what to say. Mostly that I wanted to punch him. But that wasn't what was going to be effective as accomplishing anything. So instead I asked him something. By Oliver's description, Amadeus was pretty much the actual devil. So why was he so bothered by his death? Instead of answering my question, he took out the knife. A gold knife, intricate knife. Is that? Yes, it's the knife I showed you the other day. As fate would have it, Oliver would end up leaving the knife with me by the end of the night as a gift. But originally, Oliver had gifted that knife to his late father. Oliver's dad was a craftsman, and at that point he had gifted two identical knives to his two sons, Amadeus and Oliver. Oliver never thought much of it, but Amadeus loved it. Supposedly, Amadeus had always been a lot closer with his father than Oliver. Funny thing about these knives is that they're outfitted with a small little hidey hole. You wouldn't know it, but looking at the knife, but like I showed you the other day, it's got a good holding small items, or something small. Amadeus kept the knife on his person at all times, so a keepsake. And he also kept a special USB flash drive on him at all time. A flash drive containing his totality of his work. His golden gun, his blackmail portfolio. 3 guesses as to where he hid it. In the knife's hidey hole. Bingo! Mouse gets in one. Makes sense, really. You keep one thing on you at all time, you keep another thing on you at all time. One thing has a slot to hide something for the size of the other thing. It's kind of whatever, it's that word. But see, here's the thing. Something happened to Amadeus Bone didn't account for. His brother killed him. He was killed. And something happened Oliver didn't account for either. That knife went missing from the crime scene. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it's saying. Like, Oliver's got his own quote unquote, but it's actually his brother's, and Doug obviously has Oliver's. But oh, okay, so that's why people he asked who had the knife, because obviously whoever has the knife is the killer. And okay, so Dog's trying to find out why kidnap us though. I don't recall hearing about this detail. Yeah, obviously that wasn't part of wasn't a problem Oliver was eager to bring it out up to the public. But no matter how much he looked, he couldn't find the knife anywhere. He couldn't find it anywhere in Aaron Morris's house either. Aaron Morris claimed to know nothing about it, but of course Aaron Morris was who also claimed he was innocent. Oliver was confident that this guy had found the culprit, but Oliver was nervous about something, the missing knife. The night Oliver was drunkenly confessing to me, the knife was still missing. To his knowledge, no one on the that file it had been blackmailed recently, including him, of course. But if anyone ever found the USB in the flash drive, that would be disastrous. Yep. The whole thing was... Is that why Dragon is here? Does Dragon have the flash drive? The whole thing was pretty messed up. Anyway, that's what Oliver told me. The only reason the force came down so decisively on Aaron was probably because they wanted to sell the mallet definitively. Meanwhile, Oliver was handling the search of the knife privately. Flash forward a few years, he kept in touch, and the knife still hasn't shown up. Then, the kid who's obviously a kid messing tries to passing off a phony ID on me. Turns out the kid's name is Brian Morris, and he's pretty annoyed at my part in convicting his dad. I don't really feel bad about any of that. I just did my part, spoke the truth. I did have a reason to feel bad though, and that's because I now knew a lot more of the truth than I had done, and had done pretty much nothing with it. Anyways, I let him blow off some steam by ranting at me, then sent him on his way. He swings by a few more times, never for any real point. Our relationship gets marginally better. We played a few games of darts at some point, and then I stopped seeing him for a while. And then one night, I'm closing up shop and I hear some noise behind me. I might have been. So it was Doug he was talking to. Okay, I might have been off the force for a while, but my instincts were totally shot. I wasn't going to let the kid completely ambush me. So I turned around in time to look Brian in the face, which caused him to hesitate from shooting the taser. It was unclear as to what exactly he intended to do, but I knew his expression well. It was that of a man about to do something reckless and very stupid. I tried to strike up some sort of report we had previously had, but he was different. At one point, he mentioned how me and my friend Ollie would pay for strangling the justice system. So he clearly knew more than he did when we previously met. It was unclear how much more, but he knew more. Still, I tried to get a straight answer out of him, and he continued to act weird. He talked about his right, everything that had happened. He was saying that it's more than himself. And it was at this point, I knew that was something that wasn't right. This was this kid was in over his head. On a hunch, I asked him if somebody had given him this idea of whatever this was, if someone was helping him. In response, he shot me with the taser. Before passing out, I got a look at his face and I knew the answer. The hell? So, Doug, what are you saying? I believe he's implying that the Jade Emperor was not Brian alone. Well, I didn't think that yet. It was only how he reacted when I pressed him about the encounter while he was explaining the rules that I felt something was off. He spoke as if he hadn't remembered this incident. Hold on a second. Are you saying that the voice wasn't Brian? And I thought that guy was on the screen was Brian. The person on the screen was most certainly Brian. I would recognize that too. Anyway, he was wearing gloves, wasn't he? So the tattoo, because it was the very first description of Brian that he was wearing gloves. Although considering the getup he was in, I'm not saying I have to answer that. Didn't then, don't now. Sorry, I'm not saying I have all the answers. I was just definitely suspicious. Something wasn't right. And something wasn't right with the people who were there. The two standout cases were Mouse and Dragon. Okay, yeah, because we weren't necessarily linked. Whereas Snake, you two are right. There isn't a good reason for either of you to be there. So I was on the lookout. And in the end, I saw Dragon Snake off from the group. And I had a feeling that was the first move. So impulsive, that one. I already apologized, you moron. How long are you going to be on this? It's still just surprising that you believe it's such a blatant lie. I mean, someone like me, funding a gang like the Scorpions, the GM must have been transmitting hypnotic powers through those speakers. Anyway, my punchline stands that the person is clearly manipulated Dragon into getting into a fight along with Snake. First things first, I got Bunny to gather everyone up on the spot where people could see each other. Why do you do that again? Not important right now. Next, so Bunny's in on this. Okay, cool. Next, I ran after you and interrupted the fight. I didn't have time to let things run its course, so I used the taser I'd found earlier in the gym to put you both to sleep. We already know this part. I'm being thorough. And stop yelling, I'm standing right here. Anyways, luckily for you two, you'd already input your actions, so I just dragged you to the nearby side exit in preparation. But when the game ended, the neck braces all came off unlocked. I did the honor of taking them off of you for you. Then when I returned, I realized that Mouse, the other person of interest, was gone. I chased after you, and I was able to catch you just before you'd walked headfirst into a trap. Again, thank you for that. Anyway, at this point, I was putting two and two together. Dragon and Mouse and possibly Snake are all being targeted. You were brought here to die. That's true. That is so. Doggy is the hero of the story somehow, and for the main reason, alongside a couple of others, I brought you to this little safe house. Okay. Well. Yeah. Well, we did twice as long as usual, so I'm gonna call it there because this was interesting. It was a major low dump, and Dog is revealing himself to be the hero. So, I mean, yeah, he's doing things. He's kidnapped us, but yeah, I don't think we would have believed him otherwise. Anyway, thank you for stopping by, and hopefully I can see you on the next one. With that, goodbye.